Hello, Tommaso here for T-News. It's that time of the year once again. Cup fever is reaching the fans here at USMP, and this season, after a great start, winning, of course, the playoffs for the opening stage of the season, the USMP fans think that they can go all the way. After winning some of the early rounds, they're taking on Alianza Lima today in the quarterfinals to see if they can really get on a magical cup run. Hello and welcome back to Vamos to the Top. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode, as hopefully we're going to be going on a cup run. We won the first two rounds of the cup and now find ourselves in the quarter-finals with a very good chance of going on to win the entire thing. So hopefully we're going to secure our first official piece of silverware in today's episode. If you missed yesterday's episode, I thoroughly recommend you go and watch it, but as a TLDR, we won the playoff of the opening phase of the season. So if the opening phase of the season was a championship, we won it. And actually we saw ourselves lift the trophy at the presentation at the end of the match. However, according to the club history, that doesn't count as an official trophy, so we can't count it as silverware in my opinion. So the cup, if we win it today, will be the first bit of silverware we'll have officially won. So if you think we are going to win it, make sure you drop a like on the video for me, subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. So due to there being quite a bit of a gap between the end of the opening phase of the season and the cup month of June, we have played a friendly. We won 6-0, it was very decent, but the opening two games of the cup run were not too bad either. We did rotate a lot against Sport Boys and they played much better than we did, and they'll be very upset not to win. After Sandoval's equalising header, the penalty shootout came down to this missed penalty from Sport Boys. Actually, I think it was saved to be fair, but in the end we won on penalty, so we got through despite the match stats not being in our favour. The second round match against Ayacucho was much more in our favour, and another goal from a corner scored by Torrejon there. And so that sets us up for a nice quarter final against Alianza Lima, a game which I really think we could be winning comfortably. Now, there are a few things to talk to you about from in between episodes, and we'll start off with Gabrielle Delgado, who last episode said he's not good enough to play at the club and then demanded a new contract to be a star player. We obviously didn't give him that new contract, and he's now considering leaving on a free transfer. I want to cash in on him, so I told him that he can leave the club for a bit of money, but it's a weird and frustrating situation. Speaking of contracts though, I have wanted to try and get a few of our players onto new deals to sign for the future to try and make sure we keep our talent at the club. And Chelly has signed a new contract all the way until 2027, which I think is a fantastic deal for us. Also only on £2,000 a week, that is really kind. And speaking of another player that I want to get on a new contract, even though he only signed for us pretty recently, it's Aaron Sanchez, who has been called up to the Peruvian national team for the first time. He didn't actually play a game or anything like that, but he's in with a shout of the national team setup, which is great for us as a club. And hopefully our future is going to get better and better and better, because the youth intake preview for this upcoming season is here, and it looks pretty decent, I must say. That also brings us to last season's youth intake, because it's time to rename some of these players thanks to you guys on the Patreon. So Carlos Ampuero, probably the best player to have come through the youth intake, he is set to be renamed to Benjani Malon. What a great name. I mean, actually potentially could do a job in the first team. I'm kind of tempted to promote him actually. At 16 years old too. And then a young attacking midfielder, Diego Arujo, is going to be renamed to Otis Ivantino, or Ivantino, something along those lines. I'll get it right one day. I think actually it might be more worthwhile training him to be a playmaker in the centre of midfield rather than the attacking midfield, just so he's got a little bit more utility to the team. And then a brilliantly named Sanchez Paches is going to be renamed as well to Avelio di Catarina, which I think is a bit more comfortable and easy to say, and I won't stumble over that one quite so much, I don't think. But thank you very much to everyone who has renamed some Patreon players and your contributions to the Patreon. So without further ado, let's get into this first fixture of today's episode, where Carlos Solis is playing in goal. This is because he came to me and said, Tom, I'm not playing enough football, and I said, well, would you be happy to be the cup goalkeeper? And he said yes, so I feel like I've got to play him to keep him happy. I am trying to use the cup though to experiment with a few different players in some slightly different roles to see how they possibly perform. Moreno is starting at left back today rather than Ruan. Of course, we signed him over summer. He hasn't played too much to be fair, but I really do like his attributes. Like, there's no real weakness, there's no massive standout to his game, but there's no real weakness to his game other than finishing. But but I think as a left back, we can kind of forgive that. The rest of the back line, though, is understandably good. Lucao, Sanchez and Cabello make up the rest of that back line. I am trying out Carpio in the centre of midfield to try and get Sandoval into the team just a little bit. Tuesta making way. Obviously, he'll probably come back into the team because he is absolutely fantastic and I love him, but it's nice to test these things out and have some options. He's also joined by Wesley Soares in the centre of midfield, who I don't think we've actually seen on an episode yet, but he came in over the summer on a free transfer and deserves to play a little bit of football. We have also been testing out, where is he on this list? Can I find him? Juan Alvarado, of course, the young Peruvian that we brought in over summer for a hefty sum of money, £110,000 from Alianza Lima, the team we're playing against today. However, he is a bit tired, so isn't really ideal to play this one. Cheli and Sandoval are on the wing, with Naranjo starting as that target forward and Juan Beltran as the advance forward, although Vinicius Popo is not far from coming back from his injury. So as kickoff is upon us here today, today's episode could be really long or really short. Today's episode goes the length of time that we are in the cup for, because I think it's another month off or so until we actually get back to league football again, if we get knocked out right now, for example. So today's episode is all about the cup and trying to do well in it. But in this first half, we've gone the whole way without a single highlight. 4 shots apiece, and our back line at least are playing pretty well, suggesting that they are keeping Alianza Lima at bay. But in the end, not a single highlight there at all. So what I'm going to do is thrash them out and say I'm far from pleased with this team. Will they come back now and actually do something special in the second half? Goals in all the other games, but it's pretty tight apart from Cienciano, who have just gone 2-0 up in their game. 53 minutes on the clock, and finally we have a highlight as Naranjo holds the ball up nicely, finds Cabello, and then brings it forward towards Sandoval. Cabello back to Carpio, playing in the centre of midfield today, of course. Slightly different role for him, but he does suit it quite nicely, and potentially it might be better for him to play there because of his lack of pace, and Sandoval's 15 pace, we can use that. He does find a great ball through to Beltran, though, who tries to get the ball in towards Sandoval, and actually, was that a shot by our player, or did it come off the defender? I think it might have come off the defender, you know. Either way, free kick from Moreno towards Sandoval at the far post, and Sandoval is justifying his selection as he grabs a goal here today. Not played too much this season because Carpio has been making that right-hand side his own, but as we do tweak things a little bit and just rotate some players around, try to see how they do in different positions, he's making a case as to why he should be starting on the right-hand side of the midfield. It's a nice battle between those two players. Another chance for us to come forward right now, though. We seem to be taking the second half by the scruff of the neck and doing really well with it, as Cheli brings the ball out wide on this very narrow pitch. Ball towards Sandoval is good. His header not quite good enough over the bar. So I think we should consolidate what we've got right now and make a couple of changes. Now, who's tired? Sandoval's tired. So let's maybe bring Carpio back on the wing and get Sandoval off for Tuesta. Let's try that one, shall we? Cheli being quite anonymous today. Let's get him off for Morelos. And who else not playing brilliantly? Naranjo, interestingly. Let's bring Gonzalez Vigil on and make him he's not the tallest. Let's make him a deep lying forward instead on support. In the meantime, Alianza Lima are coming forward and have scored a goal, annoyingly, right before the substitutes were about to be made as well. They've not come on the pitch yet. So now the changes have been made. We're going to jump to a bit more attacking, I think, here. Whew, I'm panicking now a little bit. I thought we had this game under control from what we'd seen in the second half so far, but the first highlight we've seen in Lima's favour goes in the back of the net. We need to get a goal here. Moreno down to Tuesta. Someone's surely going to turn and score at some point. Moreno shoots. Beltran shoots. Was there suspicion of offside there? I don't know. By looks of things, not. It's not going to be VAR. Juan Beltran with another goal. You love to see it. He has improved. He has developed whilst Vinicius Popo has been off. And when Popo's back from injury, he will start again. But Juan Beltran is really showing us what he can do and that he is the future of this strike force. How close to offside was it? Really tight, but he was onside. And so hopefully now we're just going to see this game out for the final 5 minutes or so. Come on, let's get this one done and dusted, please. And we do. You love to see it into the semi-finals. So Carlos Solis now wants a new contract at the club, which is interesting. His contract expires in a couple of years' time, and he's 32 years old right now. I mean, I'll be honest, I do not want to give him a new contract. really. Unless he wants less money, then that's fine. Discuss it with him. What's up, lad? Okay, he's not even bothered now. Right, well, thanks a lot for wasting our time. Also, we should probably rest our players as well. The cup draw for the semi-final is on the 1st of July, and the game usually takes place the next day, which seems very peculiar. I'm sure it's not the case in real life. Oh, no, it's not. It does say the semi-final's on the 8th. Okay, well, maybe I was wrong. Anyway, here is the semi-final draw. So we've got a choice of Cusco, Cienciano or Sporting Cristal. I say a choice. We don't get a choice at all. We get given what we're given. But I'd rather play Cienciano out of all of these teams. And Cienciano have been drawn against Sporting Cristal, which means we're taking on rivals Cusco, who are really developing into a bit of a rival. Of course, we beat them to a top spot in the opening phase of the league seasons group, whatever the sentence is, I can't remember. Either way, we did pretty well against them. I thought we got through to the semi-finals in Season 1. We actually lost to Cienciano in the quarterfinals in Season 1. And then, of course, last season was disastrous, losing in the first round to a team from the second division. That's one to forget. So actually, this is the furthest we've ever got in the cup. So if we do end up losing, my defence is going to be that we've made history by getting to the semi-finals. So, do I feel a need to change the team at all? I don't think so. But it would be nice to rotate a few players around. Looks like Juan Alvarado has picked up an injury. I must have missed this. He picked up an injury in a reserves game and is out for 4 to 7 weeks. I was going to play him. Well, we can't play him. He's out for a little while, Juan Alvarado, who will be very good in the future, just when he's not injured. In that case, I think we maybe do leave the team as it is, although I do maybe want to bring Tuesta on for this game, just to get his match sharpness back up a little bit as well. Okay. So once again, kickoff is upon us here today. We are at home, which is quite exciting, gives us a bit of an advantage over this single leg tie. But right now, Cusco are the team on the attack. Lucao clears the ball away from the back, although it nearly finds its way into the back of the net as this one has been cleared away. Just about. Poor defensive work from us there in the build-up to that shot on target. Well, kind of on target, hit the post. Is post target or not target? Must be off target, right? Either way, it's not looking good for us at the start of this game. 6 shots to Cusco, 3 shots to us, although 2 of ours have been on target compared to 0 for Cusco. So yeah, if it hits the post, it's not on target. 32 minutes into this game, and maybe we're finally going to see a highlight in our favour. As Sanchez into Cabello. Cabello back to Sanchez. A real high press here from Cusco as they are just really on us. Like, we can't get this ball forward because their attackers are straight onto us. But Moreno has found a bit of space down the left-hand side to squeeze the ball through to Chelly just about. Chelly back to Moreno, and then Moreno back into Wesley, but they're so compact, this Cusco team. They're really pushing us quite high. If we can just deliver a ball over the top to someone with pace, like Sandoval's 15 pace, that would be great. Or to Juan Beltran, who's also got 15 pace. He somehow hits the crossbar from 6 yards out. I mean, that's quite impressive, to be fair. That is quite impressive. If we were playing Crossbar Challenge, I'd give him 2 points for that. Not just a 1 point. I'd give him 2 points for it, as Sanchez header back to Solis is pretty good. This is also where I get a bit nervy. Like, we're at such a late stage of the competition. It feels to me that Solis is our second choice keeper now, and so I shouldn't trust him. But I told him he's the cup keeper and I want to keep him happy. So we're going to keep him playing in the cup as Juan Beltran's header is over the bar this time. So he's gone over the bar, he's hit the bar. Surely next time it will go under the bar and in the back of the net. But another game where it's 0-0 at half time. We actually really came back into that game in the second half of the first half. Really good shots there for us. Although Naranjo and Juan Beltran both on 6.6 ratings right now. 6.7 for Juan Beltran. So maybe that might need to be changed. Tuesta finds himself free and through. He also hits the crossbar. I think that's kind of what Carpio can't do. Tuesta's got a bit more pace than Carpio. 12 pace compared to Carpio's 11. Okay, it's not that much of a difference anyway, to be fair. But Tuesta does seem to get into that those half spaces a little bit more than I've seen Carpio do since I've been playing him in the centre of midfield. And I think Tuesta just offers that something a little bit extra in the centre of midfield. Either way, 64 minutes on the clock and we are looking to come forward again. I am going to make a change up top shortly because Naranjo, after his amazing start to the campaign with his, 8 goals in 9 league appearances, has dried up in the Cup. Like, he's not been brilliant in the Cup, really, which is a bit frustrating, particularly in the past 2 games or so. Either way, Sandoval on the ball right now into Tuesta, who finds a ball through to Cabello, who's overlapped and puts the ball into Naranjo, and he cannot put that one in the back of the net. It was a great last-ditch challenge, actually, because it has gone down as a corner. Ah, dear me. Are we actually going to get one of these in the back of the net at some point soon? I think it's time to make changes, and actually we move Chelly up top and we bring Gonzalez Vigil on, and that means we bring Morelos on the left-hand side instead of Juan Beltran. So both strikers coming off. Let's see if that makes any sort of a difference as I shout encourage to the team out there with 20 minutes or so to go in this game. We deserve to win this. Look at these match stats. We have dominated with an XG of 2.2. How we've not got a goal out of this game, I do not know. And as the clock ticks down, it looks like it might be going towards extra time. So that makes me think maybe it's time to bring Sandoval off the pitch and bring Carpio on. Sandoval has played arguably the best in the team right now, but is very tired out there. I think a fresh pair of legs up top for extra time, which looks like we're not going to. It's penalties. Why? Oh, Tom. Oh, Tom. The reason I'm very annoyed is because Carpio is absolutely atrocious at penalties. I mean, luckily he's right down the list. Hopefully we're not going to go that far. But getting my assistant manager to pick the order last time out worked quite nicely. So let's see if we can do it again. Cherry steps up to start the penalty shootout. The second shootout in 2 episodes. And Chelly puts that one in the back of the net. Right, Rodriguez comes forward for Cusco, and Solis, who actually I think has saved a good few penalties in his time at the club whilst we've been here, can't get a hand to that one. That's basically a perfect penalty into the top corner. Morelos, a good penalty taker. I trust him to do well with penalties, although hopefully I've not jinxed it by saying that. Good. Puts it in the back of the net. You love to see it. So now once again, we are calling on Solis to do us a favour. Can he save this penalty? Please, 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 save the penalty. He has done. Right, we're 2-1 up against Cusco, and Cabello, who on paper has the best attributes for penalties aside from finishing where he's a bit low down, but does score another penalty. You'll love to see it. So Cabello there getting that one in the back of the net. If Solis can save this penalty, well, we are almost in the final. Come on, Solis. Oh, he was inches away from that one by looks of things, but Riviera puts that one in the back of the net. Pressure on Moreno now to put this one in the back of the net. Can he do it? Kevin Moreno puts it in the back of the net. Comfortably done, the young left back there. So both fullbacks taking penalties, both pretty decent at penalties themselves. Right, Cusco need to score this. If they don't score this, there's no chance of them winning this shootout because they won't have enough penalties left to score enough, basically. Either way, stepping up, the penalty is saved. You love to see it. Solis is our hero, saving 2 penalties. We're into the final. And you know what? We deserve it. If we'd lost that on penalties, I'd have been so annoyed. Look at these match stats. We thoroughly deserve that. Into the final we go. So actually, that's 3 penalties saved in shootouts by Solis in the cup run, because we had the penalty shootout in the first game, didn't we, where Solis saved the penalty pushing it over the bar, which you saw earlier on in today's episode. So I mean, yeah, Solis is great at penalties, and it means we take on Sporting Cristal in the final on the 9th of August. Why is that so far away? Why is that there? Look, the entire cup run is here, all in June. Why is the cup final in July? What? Why? Right, well, I guess we aren't doing the cup final today, are we? We'll do it tomorrow. We'll come back for maybe Huancayo and Sporting Cristal, or maybe 2 Sporting Cristal. That's very confusing. Well, in that case then, I guess it brings today's episode to its conclusion, and quite an exciting episode it was. Some pretty decent games. Hopefully, we're going to keep some good form going and actually go on to win the cup final. That would be ideal. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.